Congratulations on your purchase of the Big George Rotisserie Oven. We're going to show you how easy it is to use so you can prepare healthy, delicious foods for you and your family. In addition to watching this video, be sure to read your owner's manual and follow the step-by-step instructions.
The Big George Foreman Rotisserie Oven works as a combination rotisserie, barbecue grill, and extra oven that's perfect for big parties. It will allow you to prepare juicy, succulent, tender chicken, pork, fish, and steaks, flavorful veggies, and guilt-free fries in your own home. If you've just started cooking or you've been cooking all your life, this rotisserie oven will let you cook like a champ. Simply place your food on the appropriate bar, basket, or oven tray. Set the timer, set the temperature, and that's it. The Big George Rotisserie Oven will do all the work. With a powerful motor, large cooking area, and heavy-duty rotisserie bar, the Big George can beautifully and evenly cook up to a 16-pound turkey. And with its accessories, you can cook a wide variety of foods from delicate fish or vegetables to large roasts. The Big George is so versatile, it can cook foods like potatoes several different ways. You can bake guilt-free steak fries in our exclusive air-bake round basket, roast red potatoes in our flat basket, or prepare your classic baked potatoes on the wire rack. Any way you cook them, they will be healthy and delicious. In this video, we'll explain the critical information you'll need to help you start cooking with the Big George right away, including some important steps to take when you're getting started. Mouth-watering demonstrations of using the rotisserie for small to medium meats and large meats, and equally tasty examples of cooking with the adjustable flat basket, the air-bake round basket, the regular baking oven, the wire rack, and finally, a few tips on cleaning up. First, let's take a closer look at your Big George Rotisserie Oven. There are several major components of the Big George, including a heavy-duty constructed rotisserie body with a wide, easy-access door that moves up and out of the way to save space, a variable temperature control that offers you 6 commonly used minutes you need for roasting or baking, up to a maximum of 5 hours and 59 minutes. Your George Foreman Rotisserie Oven features a heavy-duty rotisserie bar which hosts accessories such as the meat tines, adjustable flat basket, and roasted veggies air-bake round basket. The rotisserie bar fits into the rotisserie oven, and the heavy-duty motor turns the bar so your food cooks evenly and conveniently without all the added fat. Also, please note this owner's manual. You need to read this entire manual before using your oven for the first time and follow the step-by-step instructions. Pay special attention to the important safeguards, safety tips, and maintenance instructions. Then save it for future reference, including its many recipes. Before using your Big George Rotisserie Oven for the first time, we suggest you wash all the accessory parts in hot, soapy water. Rinse all the parts well and dry thoroughly. After first making sure the rotisserie oven has been turned off and is unplugged, use a damp cloth to wipe down the inside and outside of the oven. Never immerse the rotisserie oven in water or any other liquid. We also recommend you familiarize yourself with how the rotisserie bar fits into the oven and how each accessory works. With the rotisserie oven unplugged, practice loading and removing the rotisserie bar and all the other accessories. This will make it much easier when it comes time to actually load food into the oven. We will give you step-by-step instructions on how to load and unload the bar and other accessories in the following cooking demonstrations. You can also find detailed instructions in the Preparing for Use section in your owner's manual. One last note, when you use Big George for the first time, you may notice a slight burning odor and small amount of smoke. This is normal and will dissipate in a short amount of time. Now it's time to show you how easy it's going to be to prepare healthy, delicious food. Your Big George is roomy enough to roast large chickens and perfect Cornish hens. Foods cooked on the Big George Rotisserie are extra flavorful because they're self-basted with their own juices. And they're extra healthy because the fat drips down away from the food during cooking, helping you knock the fat out of your diet. We're going to demonstrate how to rotisserie small and medium meats with this chicken. First, we'll show you a quick and easy way to truss a chicken. When cooking a chicken in the rotisserie, the legs and wings need to be secured so that no chicken parts inadvertently touch the heating elements. First, measure the amount of string you'll need. Measure out 3 lengths of the chicken. Place the string under the tail. Cross the string and bring it under one leg, then the other, and pull it tight. Take the string back across the leg meat, through the wing joints while turning the chicken over, Then tie off the string. Now tuck the wings back like this. That's all there is to it. Your chicken is now ready to be attached to the rotisserie bar. Remember to remove any excess string when you're finished trussing. Since this is a medium-sized chicken, we're using the 2-prong meat tines. When using the rotisserie bar, remember all foods must be secured on. Whenever possible, be sure to use the end brackets to secure your accessories. The only time you would not be doing this is when you are cooking something extra large and you need more room. In that case, you must use the 4-prong meat tines and remove the wing nuts from the end brackets to secure your food in place on the rotisserie bar. To begin securing the chicken onto the rotisserie bar, locate the 2 end brackets. Unscrew each wing nut fully, but do not remove them from the bracket. Pick up the end bracket and slide the pointed end of the rotisserie bar through the square hole in this end bracket only. Locate the square hole in the center of each meat tine. Place the first meat tine onto the rotisserie bar so the pointed ends point in the same direction as the pointed end of the rotisserie bar. Push your meat tine against the first end bracket. Pierce your meat or other food with the rotisserie bar and slide your food across the bar and into the pointed ends of the first meat tine. Push the matching meat tine onto the rotisserie bar so the pointed ends face in towards your food. While holding the first bracket, firmly push the meat tine into your food. Then push the remaining bracket onto the rotisserie bar and against the meat tine. Center your food on the rotisserie bar by loosening the bracket you tightened previously, and if needed, retighten. Push each end bracket against the meat tines. Tighten the wing nut of the remaining bracket to secure the meat in place. Season the chicken with your favorite herbs or follow your favorite recipe suggestions. Even if it's only salt and pepper, your chicken will still taste great. Your chicken is now ready to be placed into the rotisserie. Open the oven door and line up the pointed end of the rotisserie bar with the center hole in the right side. Then, the other end of the rotisserie bar slips into the grooves like this. If you've practiced this procedure without meat on the rotisserie bar, this operation will go much smoother. We highly recommend you practice before you start cooking with your rotisserie oven. Reconfirm the food you are cooking on the rotisserie is no longer than 12 inches. This allows the entire piece of food to be over the heating elements. Also, check to make sure your chicken is centered. You can usually tell if your food is properly centered just by looking at it. However, to be sure, test for balance by rotating the rotisserie bar with your hands. If you feel a jerking motion, you'll need to readjust the food. Do not cover your food while it's cooking in the rotisserie oven. At this time, you should also make sure your drip pan is in place. This drip pan with handle makes cooking and cleaning easy. The bottom of the drip pan should be lined with aluminum foil and filled with 2 cups of water prior to cooking to limit any smoke which may occur as a result of dripping juices. Check the drip pan periodically and add more water as needed. Before we start cooking the chicken, let's take a detailed look at the operation of the control panel. First, set the timer for the correct cooking time. As you can see, this is as simple as pushing the hour and minute buttons until you reach the desired length of time. The digital timer can be set to a maximum of 5 hours and 59 minutes. Next is the temp button, which adjusts the cooking temperature. As you press the temp button, you'll notice 6 different temperature settings designated by 1 to 6 small dots appearing on the far left side of the timer display. The settings and corresponding temperatures are as follows: 400 degrees, 5 dots, 425, and 6 dots, 450 degrees. For guidelines on correct temperatures and suggested cooking times, refer to the cooking guide of your owner's manual. Now move on to the Select button. This selects which heating elements are activated during the cooking cycle. Each of the heating elements are represented by an indicator light above the Select button. The 4 lights match the location of the 4 heating elements inside the oven. Using this feature, you can have more control over the cooking process and can use whichever elements fits best with what you're cooking. We recommend you start with the 2 side-bottom heating elements activated for the rotisserie function. As you use the oven, you may decide to customize how you use this feature based on your particular foods and recipes. Next is the motor button. Press the motor button to turn the rotisserie motor on or off. When using the baking sheet or wire rack, you will not need to turn on the rotisserie motor. Then there's the oven light button. You can turn the light on to check the progress of your food without having to open the oven door. Remember to keep this light off when you're not checking on your meat to save wear and tear on the light bulb. Now that we've seen what each button is used for, let's go through the front panel setup for our chicken. First, push the reset button to clear any previous setting you may have used. Second, set the timer. Third, set the temperature. Fourth, push the on button. Fifth, set the number of heating elements. Sixth, turn on the motor if you're using the rotisserie. That's all there is to it. Note the pause button. Let's say you want to stop the rotisserie for a few moments while you add barbecue sauce to the food. Just push the pause button, add your sauce, then push the pause button again to resume cooking. Now you're done, and the Big George Rotisserie Oven takes over. In just a short while, you'll be enjoying a juicy, tender chicken dinner. Here's how easy it is to remove the chicken once it's been cooked. First, turn the oven off by depressing the off button. Then remove your food. Using your George Foreman Beat the Heat oven mitts or other oven mitts capable of withstanding the heat, open the oven door. Do not touch the sides, top, door, or back of your oven without wearing your mitts, as the unit gets very hot. Place a plate similar to this under the food and lift the left side of the rotisserie bar out of its groove. Then angle the food out of the right side hole and remove the food from the oven. You may also use this rotisserie bar remover accessory for this task. Just attach to each side of the rotisserie bar like this. Now angle the food out of the oven just like before. For removing the adjustable flat basket or the round basket, you may use either procedure. Just make sure you're using the George Foreman Beat the Heat oven mitts or other mitts that are capable of withstanding the heat of the basket. To be sure your food is cooked to the correct temperature, always use a meat thermometer. After removing the food from the oven, check for your desired temperature. If the food hasn't reached the correct temperature, just return the food to the oven and cook longer. When your food is done roasting, let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes to let the cooking process complete and allow the juices to settle before carving. Once the chicken is done and removed from the oven, you need to remove the meat tines before slicing. Whether using the 2-prong or the 4-prong meat tines, always remove them and the rotisserie bar from the food before cutting and slicing. When preparing 2 small chickens or Cornish hens, there is a slight variation in your prep work. The difference is, after pushing the second meat tine into the food, you push on another meat tine pointing in the opposite direction instead of putting on the bracket. Now slide another hen onto the meat tine. Then slide another meat tine pointing toward the food onto the rotisserie bar. Now comes the last bracket up against the meat tine. Remember to always secure tines and brackets before loading into the rotisserie. You know, there's nothing like a rotisserie for turkeys and roasts. They cook up tender and juicy. With its large capacity, your Big George can handle up to a 16-pound turkey or roast. We're going to demonstrate how to load a large lamb roast using the 4-prong meat tines. First, locate the square hole in the center of each meat tine. Place the first meat tine onto the rotisserie bar so the pointed ends point in the same direction as the pointed end of the rotisserie bar. If and only if you're not using end brackets with your 4-prong meat tines, because you need the extra room, go ahead and unscrew and remove the wing nut from each end bracket. Pierce your lamb roast with the rotisserie bar. Slide the meat across the rotisserie bar and onto the pointed ends of the first meat tine. Push your matching meat tine onto the rotisserie bar so the pointed ends face in toward the lamb. While holding the first bracket, firmly push the meat tine into your roast. Once the lamb roast is centered, insert the wing nut into the side hole in the 4-prong meat tine. Tighten the wing nut firmly until the meat tines are secure in the rotisserie bar. Once again, adjust each setting used in the first demonstration. Check the roast with a meat thermometer to make sure it's done, and wait 15 to 20 minutes once it's cooked before it's served. The Big George Rotisserie Oven's adjustable non-stick flat basket will allow you to grill a wide variety of food, including plump, juicy hamburgers, steaks, barbecued ribs, pork chops, hot dogs, salmon, swordfish, chicken breasts, and sliced vegetables, all to a delicious perfection. We'll load up 2 salmon steaks to show you just how easy it is to cook with a flat adjustable basket. First, grab the wire handle on the adjustable basket. Pull the wire closest to the edge toward the other handle wire and lift up. Pull the tab end of the basket cover out of the side wires and lift it up to remove the cover. Then set the cover aside. Next, place your food into the basket. Be sure to allow room across the center for the rotisserie bar. Place your salmon steaks flat. Do not stack your food. Replace and lock the basket cover until it fits tightly. against the food. This way the cover will hold the food in place as it turns on the rotisserie bar. The cover can be adjusted up or down to accommodate the thickness of the food. Now, carefully slide the rotisserie bar, pointed end first, through the opening on the side of the basket. Next, locate the end brackets we've been using. Slide a bracket on each end of the rotisserie bar. Locate the looped wires on each side of the basket. Place a bracket over the looped wire on both sides of the basket. Tighten the wing nuts on each bracket to hold them and the rotisserie bar in place. The basket is now ready to be loaded into the machine. The process is the same as with the other rotisserie foods. Just angle it in, set it in the slot and the groove, and it's in place. This basket makes wonderful guilt-free, air-baked fries. Simply add your favorite potato from country fries to new potatoes to the nonstick basket and roast. You can grill mushrooms and peppers with no need to add fats or oils. They roast to perfection. This extra large size means you can cook for the whole family in a single batch. An easy closed door keeps all the food in the basket safely and securely. To use the roasted veggies air-bake round basket, here's all you do. Grasp the wire handle on the roasted veggies air-bake round basket door. Squeeze the wires and pull the door open. Place your food into the basket, being sure to allow room across the center for the rotisserie bar. Close the basket door. Now it's ready to be placed into the rotisserie. Carefully slide the round basket onto the rotisserie bar and against the first end bracket. Push the remaining end bracket onto the rotisserie bar and against the round basket. Remember to center the basket on the rotisserie bar and to push each end bracket against the basket. Tighten both wing nuts to secure all pieces in place. Now you enter your settings and you're ready to go. Great fat-free fries every time. Five skewers are included with your oven. You can make kebabs out of just about any of your favorite foods. Here we have steak, onion, and mushroom kebabs. Just brush some sauce or marinade over your kebabs and they'll come out juicy and stay in place with the Big George specially designed kebab rack. Remember, you only use your skewers with the Big George wire rack. It is specifically designed to work with your skewers for evenly cooked shish kebabs. Begin by placing the wire rack in the lower wire rack position with the cross wires facing up. Make sure the rotisserie bar is not in the oven and the rotisserie motor is turned to off. Slide your kebab pieces onto the pointed end of each skewer as you normally do. Place each skewer into the grooves in the cross wires. The pointed end of the skewer should rest on the back cross wire of the wire rack. Then, close the cover using the cover handles. Set your time and temperature, and you're set. Big George's wire rack allows you to use your rotisserie oven like a regular baking oven. This comes in handy when you're entertaining guests and you need a little extra cooking space. The Big George's roomy interior is perfect for baking appetizers, potatoes, or dishes like lasagna. When using Big George as an oven, be sure to set your wire rack in with the cross wires on the bottom. And again, check to make sure the rotisserie bar is not in the oven and the rotisserie motor is turned to off. Appetizers and other baked items can be placed on either baking level at the same time. However, when using the baking sheet, slide it into the oven at the lower position only. Then close the cover using the cover handles. The Big George will bake your food like any other oven. Just set the temperature and timer, and you're set. When cleaning your Big George rotisserie oven, be aware you should not attempt to disassemble or clean your rotisserie while it's plugged in or hot. Depress the off button and allow the unit to cool completely. The front door is removable for easy cleaning. Locate the two spring-loaded hooks on the sides of the cover. Firmly pull up on the hooks while pulling the cover forward. Wash the cover in hot soapy water. Use care not to scratch or break the viewing window. To replace, firmly pull up on the hooks and slide the cover back into place. Rotate upwards to be sure it's in place properly. Remember, do not use harsh abrasive cleansers or metal scouring pads to clean the inside of the rotisserie. Doing so may damage and scratch the interior, and never immerse the rotisserie in water or any other liquid. You can clean your George Foreman Beat the Heat oven mitts in the top rack of your dishwasher. This makes it very convenient to keep these clean and ready for the next use. For complete cleaning and maintenance information, please refer to your owner's manual. Well, there you have it. Healthy, tasty meals are now at your fingertips. We hope you enjoy years of delicious, nutritious dinners for you and your family. Thanks for watching. And remember, you don't have to be a good cook. The Big George makes it so easy to rotisserie, grill, and bake great food. Just put it in the Big George and let it do all the work. For more details on cooking with the Big George Rotisserie Oven and further information regarding service, maintenance, cleaning, product warranty, or how to order replacement light bulbs, please refer to your owner's manual. If your Big George Rotisserie Oven should malfunction or if any of your accessory parts are missing, please contact our Consumer Service Department. Call us toll-free at the number on your screen between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please mention the model number GR80 when you call.